Now, there are things we can do to improve it, but to tear it up and start over again, pushing our country back into that kind of a contentious debate, I think is the wrong direction.
I have to talk about something that's actually working in our state.
No one is tearing this up. We're going to go forward. But what the Secretary neglected to mention, not just the 29 million still have no health insurance, that even more are underinsured with huge co-payments and deductibles. Tell me why. Polling, guess what? We are running ahead of Secretary Clinton in terms of taking on my good friend Donald Trump.
Greetings. My name is Lance Bell. As you saw in the opening to this week's show, there was a huge debate from Sunday. Now, I'm not going to vet the debate itself. As you know, there are plenty of places to do that way better than I would. However, I will speak about what went on before and after the debate. This week, both Clinton and Sanders was campaigning in Iowa ahead of the Iowa caucuses. On the 18th, Clinton was in Toledo, Iowa, and before I give my thoughts, here's what she spoke about.
So there's a lot at stake. And certainly if you listen to the Republican candidates who have been crisscrossing Iowa, it's a little bit scary. Right? Honestly, I said the other day, I don't know who they talk to when they're here in Iowa. I kind of thought maybe they just have the same group of actors that they move from site to site, because I want to demonstrate that we can have a campaign that is really based on smart, achievable plans, that you can support someone who has the experience and getting results for people, and that there is a complicated job waiting for the next president that we have to make sure we get right. And I promise you this, I will never forget that kind of support, and I will be back in Iowa to make sure, if I'm the Democratic nominee, we carry it in the fall, that Iowa will be part of the future, not doing a U-turn to the past.
Now, folks, the body language tells me the story. Now, I do not think that she is getting desperate like some people on the interwebs are saying. She and her campaign is not to that point yet. However, you can tell that she is feeling the heat, and it is coming hot and heavy. I know that she probably honestly thought that campaigning against someone was just a technicality and not an actual issue. And boy, was she wrong. Now, the reason why I say that, in the next video, Bernie Sanders is not going away easily. And here in this clip from Fort Dodge, Iowa, you will see why.
When I began the campaign, people said, well, you're running against an inevitable candidate. Secretary Clinton is the inevitable candidate of the Democratic Party. You might be able to, raise some good issues, but you can't win. Well, when we started, we were in 3% in the polls. We were 50 points behind. Today, the inevitable candidate does not look quite so inevitable as she did 8.5 months ago. I am the only candidate to tell you a simple and straightforward but unhappy truth. And that unhappy truth is that no president of the United States, not Bernie Sanders, not anybody else, can do what has to be done for the middle class and working families of this country alone. And the reason that no president can do it alone is that the powers that be, Wall Street, corporate America, the corporate media, the large campaign donors, are so powerful that no president alone can take them on. The only way we transform this country is when millions of people, and this is what the political revolution is about, when millions of people stand up and loudly and clearly say, our government belongs to all of us, not just a handful of billionaires. You know, Iowa, in 2 weeks, not only is all of America going to be looking at Iowa, but in fact, much of the world is going to be looking at Iowa. And the issue on the ballot is not just the name Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton or Governor O'Malley or whoever. The issue on the ballot is whether or not we are going to vote to go forward, not just to elect a new president, but to transform this country and create a government that works for all of us and not just wealthy campaign contributors. In 2 weeks, the eyes of the world are on Iowa.
Now, I know what people think about Sanders. I get that. But I tell everyone, even if you do not want him even to sniff the chance to be president, you at least have to hear all the candidates out from all parties. Now, the reason why I say that is because just marking down on the box all the way down is lying to yourself if you think only one side and one side only is right or wrong. Please do not do that to yourself, no matter how much the media tells you to do that. Now, with that being said, we have Donald Trump. Now, he was at Liberty University and how he said that Americans need to unite. Now, I'm good with that statement because he's right. But what he said in a 1 week span is really starting to make me ponder about why he's running. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm talking about that now. Now, before I explain what happened, I have to talk about his announcement. Now, he was at the John Wayne Museum, and he was speaking about Ted Cruz, and here's what he said about Mr. Cruz.
And at first I didn't feel that necessarily they'd come together like that, but when you think of it, John Wayne represented strength, he represented power, he represented what the people are looking today, because we have exactly the opposite from John Wayne right now in this country. And he represented real strength and an inner strength that you don't see very often. And that's why with this endorsement, it meant so much to me. And that's why we actually went very far out of our way to come and be with the family and the group and the director and to be right here because they've done such an incredible job. Well, I think I have a great temperament. In fact, if you notice, I'm the only one that didn't want to go into Iraq. Okay, you know, people are always surprised that Trump didn't want to go. And I'm the most militaristic of any of them, feel stronger about the military than anybody. But if you go back to Reuters in 2004, or even before that, you'll see Trump did want to go into Iraq because I said it's going to totally destabilize the Middle East, and I'm absolutely right. So when you talk about temperament, Ted has got a rough temperament. I don't know. You can't start, you can't call people liars on the Senate floor when they're your leader. It's not a good thing to do if you want to sort of curry favor and get the positive votes later on down. So Ted is worried about his temperament, and people are talking about his temperament. I haven't talked about his temperament, but he's got to be careful because his temperament is, has been questioned a lot.
Now, I have said from the beginning, Cruz cannot be trusted. So it remains to be seen how Mr. Trump's view will make the Republican primaries better or worse. Now, on the announcement in question. Now, I'm going to shut up and play the video, and I want you to focus on the crowd's reaction and what I think the populace at large is doing.
This is a person who I've known for a long time, who I've respected for so long, an incredible husband, an incredible family, and somebody that when I heard that she was going to endorse me, I was so honored. You have no idea how honored. And I would like to bring up, if I might, Governor Sarah Palin. Special, special person. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be in Iowa. We're here just thawing out. He, better than anyone, isn't he known for being able to command fire? Are you ready for a commander-in-chief? You ready for a commander-in-chief who will let our warriors do their job and go kick ISIS ass? Ready for for someone who will secure our borders, to secure our jobs, and to secure our homes. Ready to make America great again. Are you ready to stump for Trump? I'm here to support the next president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Sarah Palin, Mr. Trump, really? This could have been done in a simple press release, and you know it. The reaction from the crowd told me everything. They do not like it, and they were just being respectful because of the event only. There should be no way that she gets any FaceTime in this. I say this because I am pondering this more and more of what this could be, and I better explain why to you now. Now, I was thinking that he was working to get Clinton elected. Now I'm thinking in a very different direction, but it's the same end result, that he's a paid troll for the DNC. Now think about that for a few moments. Who else would work other than Trump that would keep the moderate conservatives like myself at home this election? But it could also backfire as seeing what is happening to Clinton right now. Now stay tuned, because this can be an election of addition by subtraction.